Take a sip of water out of my Star Wars commemorative collector's cup there that I got as a Christmas present from my lovely family. Thank you, lovely family, for giving me the four glass set, 2 Empire and 2 Republic. You know what? Sad, though, about the whole Star Wars thing, at least in the prequels, is that all the people in the Republic, on the Republic side, dude, please tell me your microphone's off. Okay. All the people on the Republic side are a bunch of fags. They like the UN. When they started portraying the Jedi Council like the UN Security Council, I was like, I'm out. I'm voting for the Stormtroopers from this point forward. Because you guys are...
Why? Because they're white? Is that what you're saying?
No.
Racist. Oh, you have a certificate.
That's right. Don't even go there. I have a certificate. I'm certified not a racist.
Do you have a picture of that on your phone?
No.
So you don't have to actually carry the certificate?
Oh, you know what? You're right. I should do that. I should take a picture of it and keep it on my phone. Like if I need a mobile version, I can show people. Like, look, hey, look, back off, Jack, because I'm certified. I'm certified. You know, we haven't made that public yet.
Oh, we haven't?
No, you were going to, but you never did because it was one of the many thousands of things you said you were going to do and that you didn't do.
Yeah. Just happens that way sometimes.
Hey, welcome back to Student of the Gun Radio. I'm your host, Professor Paul Markle, in case you didn't know it. And I'm sitting in the glass case of Emotion Studios, located at Student of the Gun University, where is that?
It's in Biloxi, Mississippi. Student of the Gun University, home of Fight U and Dixon's Dungeon.
The greatest thing to come out of Mississippi that you know of. So there you go.
What about
Hey, I would like to give a special acknowledgement and hello and hi-ho silver to our friends listening to us in Kazakhstan.
Oh, yeah.
That's right. Last week we talked about, we were curious. We were pondering, which other countries are we heard in? I mean, we knew that, we know that people listen to us in England, Australia, Canada, places like that. We've gotten letters from people in Switzerland telling us about their gun collections in Switzerland, stuff like that. Oh, but someone wrote us, no kidding, sent us a letter and said, just wanted to let you know that I live in Kazakhstan. Now, they could have been pulling the wool over our eyes, but that would be a pretty elaborate hoax.
Apparently, they do have internet there.
They have it. Apparently, they have internet in Kazakhstan. So rock on, Kazakhstan. And also Zambia, to our listeners and friends in Zambia, people who the free people of Zambia who are trying to establish a constitution in that country. Good luck. Good luck to you. And Kenya, I don't know. If you're in Kenya, send me a letter. They
probably listen on their iPods while they're running.
Shut up.
I didn't introduce myself. I am Jared Markle. Did you introduce me? No. I am Jared Markle. I am the digital mastermind of Student of the Gun. I do everything in the background. So that's who I am.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and get into let's pay some bills real quick. Thank you to Century Arms, the sweetest smelling arms maker in America, makers of the C39 V2 and the C39 made in the USA AK. That's right, the V2 AK. And then they also have an RAS-47, which is the stamped receiver version. You're like, well, what should I buy? Should I buy the stamped receiver version or the machined version? I don't know. You're an American. Buy whatever you want. Duracoat, because life is too ugly. I'm sorry, life isn't too ugly. Life is too short to have an ugly gun. Now, you caught me, but I fixed myself. Brownells at brownells.com, and of course you can go to brownells.com and you can purchase your Duracoat can technology or anything else. I mean, if you want to put it on a gun, if you want to coat a gun, if you want to strip a gun, if you want to do a stock, you want to do blue steel, you can do the Dura Blue. And you're like, yeah, but Paul, to re-blue a gun is a really complex, difficult process. And the guy I talked to said it was going to be $297 to re-blue my shotgun. And so, no. As long as you can read directions and pay attention to what you're being told, you can re-blue your shotgun or pistol or rifle or whatever it is you're into in the privacy of your own garage or workshop or what have you. I wouldn't do it in your kitchen. Your wife would probably get angry at you. But, yeah, go to Brownells and pick up any kind of Duracone product you really feel froggy about. Velocity triggers. Oh, superior quality and performance, or value. Superior quality and value. There you go. I always make Jared finish that one, and he made me finish it this time. He's like, no, I'm not going to do it. Crossbreed Holsters at crossbreedholsters.com. All right, if you're not carrying a gun, you're wrong. If you want to carry a gun, carry a Crossbreed holster. This first story, it was very interesting to me as somebody that's been banging the gong, that's been trumpeting the need for everyone in America who is a good person, a responsible person, to get traumatic medical training. If you're carrying a gun, if you're a gun carrier, you're like, I'm a gun carrier. It's like, okay, do you know anything about providing traumatic first aid? Well, no, that's best left up to the professionals. Oh, so you'll carry a gun, but you won't carry a bandage. Got it. All right. Priorities now, folks. The source for this is WSJ.com, and that's short for The Wall Street Journal. Now, check out this headline. This is freaking me out. Tourniquet use urged in public safety push. I'm going to go ahead and say that again for those of you that just had to clean out your ears because you're like, what? Yes, the headline is Tourniquet use urged in public safety push. Now, this is what's going to blow your socks off, and it kind of scares me because I'm like, what is the angle here? Because I don't trust anything that comes out of 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. It's 1600, isn't it? I think so. White House calls for wide distribution of tourniquets to reduce fatalities in emergencies. Story by Michael M. Phillips, November 19th, Dateline November 19th. So this is a pretty new story. Washington, the White House, so the actual building, is pushing to make tourniquets as commonplace as heart defibrillators in U.S. schools, stadiums, airports, malls, and other public places to reduce fatalities from mass shootings and terror bombings. And this is when you and I, when you as the listener of Student of the Gun, that's when you scratch your head and you go, "Do what?" Or "Welcome to 10 years ago," or "Welcome to America today." Are you not glad to be a part of the Student of the Gun audience? Say, well, they want them to be available at all schools and churches and just like a defibrillator. Well, here's the deal. The silliness about well, it's not really silly, but the way they say it is that they want them to be there. Like they want the tourniquets to be staged, like defibrillators are staged and what have you. But the fact of the matter is, tourniquets and medical gear are relatively lightweight objects, are relatively compact objects, and you don't want to be staging them necessarily as you want to have them with you, which is what, is strange to me. I find this desire on the part of the government to encourage us, because call me crazy, but I just don't trust them. Now, whether I trust them or not, it is amazing to me that the Wall Street Journal would actually do a story. And the crappy thing about the Wall Street Journal report is the Wall Street Journal desperately wants you to subscribe. And when you go there, they give you like the first two paragraphs, and they're like, oh, if you want to read the rest of it, you have to subscribe to wallstreetjournal.com. Or you could just be smart and use a search engine. Here we go. Let's go to dailynews724.com. Tourniquet use urged in public safety push. Last month, Charlotte Douglas International Airport in North Carolina placed more than 150 bleeding control kits, including tourniquets, around the terminal, baggage claim, and checkpoints. Schools in Wisconsin, Illinois, and New York have put tourniquets. And why does the story just end right there? Have put tourniquets, ... Sweet Buddha on a rubber raft, folks. I don't know what the... Oh, okay. You got to dig in deep. They just stop the story and you have to like go three paragraphs. Have schools in Wisconsin, Illinois put tourniquets in classrooms and school offices and have taught teachers and nurses how to apply them. The White House last month convened emergency managers, medical groups, medical care companies, and school administrators to urge civilians with little or no medical training to intervene to stem hemorrhaging. Ah, where have you heard this before? Where have you been hearing this for the last 2 to 3 years? And if you've been reading the stuff that I've been writing for the last 7 years, 8 years. Talk about a feeling of vindication. I wrote an article, as you guys know, if you're fans of the show, if you're fans fans of what we do here, you'll probably know that I wrote an article about tactical medical solution. No, that's not it. Where is this? Oh, man. I wrote an article for Shooting Illustrated magazine, which is the NRA's publication. And I've been trying to write articles about basically saving people's lives or getting the training to save lives from a traumatic injury, a gunshot or a car crash or whatever. I've been doing it for a long time. I've been trying to get that out there, and all of the gun magazines wouldn't hear about it. They refused to. And I was talking to a good friend of mine about the problem, and he goes, Paul, they're still stuck in that we don't want to admit that people could actually get hurt and bleed from the use of guns. So what we're going to do is we're just not going to talk about it. We're going to pretend like it doesn't happen and like it doesn't exist. Because apparently pretending that something doesn't exist is how you fix the problem. I know, you're silly. But I applauded the editor at the time, Guy Sagi, for running the article. It was called Range Medicine, and apparently it's not up on the internet anymore, which is a shame, because I talked about how if you can teach an 18 or 19-year-old PFC or private to use a tourniquet to save his buddy's life, why can't you teach the average concealed carry handgun holder or anybody, any responsible adult? If you're smart enough, intelligent enough to get a driver's license, you can learn this. And he ran it, but he got all this pushback from professional EMT. I'm a volunteer EMT Bravo, and in our manual it says never to use a tourniquet. And if you even think about using a tourniquet, you need to be ready to explain to the emergency room doctor why you did it. And that's terrible advice. And you should never teach. I love it. One guy said you should never teach untrained people medical procedures or whatever. I'm like, so yeah, the guy actually wrote that you should never teach untrained people medical procedures or whatever. I'm like, what? Yeah, I know. But you guys are with me. Here we go. Here's from Army Surgeon John Holcomb. This is a quote. It says, someone needs to ask the question, with all of the shootings going on, why doesn't every school in the country have hemorrhage control devices? Asked Army Surgeon John Holcomb. And as we say, to quote Sterling Archer, hello and or duh. So I guess the title of this story could be, or this segment could be, hello and or duh. But hey, you know what? We applaud the Wall Street Journal and the White House tentatively because we don't trust anything that they do. But we applaud them for arriving at 10 years ago. So congratulations, you are where we were 10 years ago.
For arriving at 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So would you say they went back to the future or
I don't know. No,
returned to the past?
They returned to the past, yeah. They went forward to the past is what they did. Now, you cats and kittens and all you hippies out there in the Student of the Gun listening audience, just in case you don't know, we have 2 Pocket Lifesaver kits now. We have the basic PLS, which is an urban kit. That's for like city use, everyday city use. And then we have an enhanced Pocket Lifesaver, which is for field use. And the enhanced Pocket Lifesaver has a chest decompression needle in it, and it has 2 pair of nitrile non-latex gloves. They're black. They're size XL. Get over it. Don't tell me you have small hands. You can put small hands in it. Here's the thing. You can put medium and small hands in XL gloves. You can't put XL hands into medium gloves. So,
you know what I learned last week?
What did you learn?
You can actually you can actually use those same gloves and put ice in them and use them as an ice pack.
Yeah. Jared was amazed when someone put ice in a glove and used it as an ice pack on it.
We'll talk about that tomorrow on the fitness.
That's right. We're still teasing them. Yeah. So that's coming up. So anyway,
let's go ahead and address this. Would you fly if you flew with your PLS? Would you put it on your carry-on or would you put it on your checked baggage?
In your checked bag or on your body?
Yeah,
on your body.
Okay.
And you're like, oh, but it has a needle in it. They won't let me go. Yes, they will.
It's medical.
I've flown with IFAKs with freaking needles. Before I finally said, F this, I'm not doing it ever again. First of all, don't fly.
You suppose they would be
Step one.
You suppose they would be douche enough to cut open the kit to see what was in it?
I actually took mine with me, and I never had them do that. But I mean, they are douches.
Yeah,
they are tyrants. So the thing is, people say, "Well, what will the TSA do?" There's no telling because they just make it up as they go along. Depending on who you encounter, their interpretation of what they're allowed to do varies dramatically. From state to state, from airport to airport.
My interpretation of what I'm allowed to do also varies dramatically.
That's right. Which is why you don't put yourself in a position as a slave, as someone who's subservient. That's why you take your country back and tell them that, no, you're not surrendering any more of your freedom, any more of your independence. You're not surrendering any more of your liberty for the empty promise of safety and security. And it's an empty promise, and they never follow through on it, and they never give you your liberty back. But that is a different story. All right, moving on to and I wanted to say, you cut me off, turd. But the basic kit with the black rat's tourniquet in it is the urban kit, the basic PLS, and the enhanced PLS is the field kit. And the way you can tell the difference real quick and easy, you look at them. One has an orange rats in it, one has the black. The field kit has an orange, a Dayglow orange or safety orange or whatever rat's tourniquet in it. Okay. And it also has a decomp needle in the gloves and so forth. So if you're looking for that, or if you're looking just to buy a rat's tourniquet all by itself to train with or to keep as a spare or what have you, you can go to the Student of the Gun store and check those out there. All right. Let's thank our friends at SWAT Fuel. SWAT Fuel, it's special weapons and tactics for the body. When you go to SWATfuelstore.com, SWATfuelstore.com, use the promo code SOTG2015, and you're going to save 10% off your total order, and that is righteous. And finally, lastly but not leastly, don't forget about our friends at Frog Lube. You didn't forget, did you? No, you didn't? Okay. Frog Lube. It's a bio-based, food-grade lubricant product, which is green and smells minty, and it just works.
Minty fresh.
There you go. And fresh. All right, next story is going to be a good one for you guys. Get all ants in your pantsy, because this is one of your favorite theme songs.
Das geht an die Oma des letzten Propheten Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ich bin Allah so dankbar, ein Muslim sein zu dürfen. Das geht an die Oma, wir sind die Oma. Check das aus. Bismillah. Die Islam ist die Wahrheit. Wir folgen Muhammad.
I've had a bunch of people ask how they can get a copy of that.
You can't. You just have
I
to listen
make
to
it
us.
every time. I literally mix that every time. I don't have a preset
Mixmaster
copy.
DJ Jazzy Jared, he mixes that every time.
It's different
He's
every
over
time.
there mixing. All right, this story comes to us from the CommunistNewsNetwork.com, just because it was the most convenient source we had. And the CommunistNewsNetwork.com says, Dateline, November 20th, this is last Friday as you're hearing this, deadly Molly and that's M-A-L-I. Hotel attack. They were shooting at anything that moved, said a witness. Jason Hanna, Ed Payne, and Steve Almsley, whatever, it doesn't matter, Communist News Network correspondents. CNN, heavily armed gunmen on Friday fired indiscriminately at guests at a hotel hosting diplomats and others in Mali's capital, the maitre d' told CNN. At least 21 people were killed in the attack, in which an Al-Qaeda affiliated group. Now, Jared, what religious affiliation, what cult affiliation does Al-Qaeda wrap itself around it?
I'm going to go ahead and say that they're Buddhist monks.
No, I think they're Shinto priests.
Oh, you mean they're Muslims?
Oh, you mean they're representatives of the death cult of Islam?
Yeah.
So we have, and let's just call them the death cult from now on, because that's what they are. They are death worshipers. They worship death. They are all about death and dying and killing. That is what their cult is all about. Their cult, have you ever noticed anything about the death cult of Islam? Everything they say and do is focused around death. Can you wrap your weak minds around that? I know some of you have friends and neighbors and relatives that are so weak-minded that they can't seem to wrap their minds around that. But let's just go ahead. These people started shooting. They were shooting everybody without asking a single question. They were shooting anything that moved. Said Tamba Koye, regarding the attack at the Radisson Blu Hotel in Bamako. One man yelled, "Aloha, Allahu Akbar." One man yelled, "Aloha Snack Bar," and opened fire on people. Well, there you go. But don't rush to judgment. This is just an isolated incident. This is not an indicator of the behavior of the followers of the death cult of Islam. No. This is just one more in 1,000. Maybe this was workplace violence. You know, it could be, Jared. This could have just been workplace violence, and stop being xenophobic. Jared's going to play a call that came in on our Warrior of the Week call-in line, and it really didn't fit for Monday's Warrior of the Week, but it does fit for today's topic. So I told him to save it, put it in today's topic, and we'll go ahead and address it now in the training season.
Hey, guys, this is Dwayne from Central Alabama. I had a question for you. Appreciate your show, too. You guys do a good job. In light of what happened in Paris, here in America, if an attack like that was to occur, you know the terrorists are going to be wearing flak jackets. So given that circumstance, what would be your response as far as your point of shot, where you're putting your shots? Would you zipper, or would you go for the almighty headshot? Thank you. I am a student of the gun.
All right, Dwayne, good question. And the thing is, when you say, you guys make me smile when you say flak jackets. It's like I just got out of the Delta or the DMZ, and I've got my flak jacket on. All right, let's say they get their hands on some body armor. Step number one, if it's standard soft body armor and you're using a rifle, go team. It's just the rifle bullets will just zip right through. If they're using soft body armor and it's hidden underneath their clothing, and you're using a handgun, then it's not going to be as effective. Now, even if you're wearing armor, if you get struck with bullets, it's not like you don't know it. And you're like, I was struck with a bullet and I didn't even know it. No, you kind of know it. It kind of hurts. But let's say that they went ahead and drugged up, they amped up, and the truth of the matter is, if you're shooting at a bad Johnny Jihad guy with just a handgun, you may think as you're shooting him, and he's not going down, you're like, I swear I hit that dude and he's not going down. Well, it's because handgun bullets don't lift people up off of the ground and throw them across the room. Handgun bullet, John Farnham famously said 25, 30 years ago, what do people do after you shoot them with a handgun? And we're all like, what, coach? And he said, same thing they were doing before you shot them with the handgun. Where do you put the bullets? We talked about this. Did we talk about it last week, Jared? About the cover it with your hand kind of a deal? I'm pretty sure we did. Maybe that was on the grad program hour. I don't know. But we talked about
happened since
the preferred area. At Student of the Gun University, we teach people to shoot in what they call the thoracic triangle, or the upper chest area. You draw a line from the nose down to the nipples and back across, and you make a triangle. And we teach you to put your bullets in that area. The vast majority of training targets that you're issued or given or that you purchase at ranges are wrong. They put the 10 ring or the X ring like down in the sternum or essentially about where the belly button would be or just over the belly button. And so they teach people, Jared, you remember when you did that? And I called you out on it and you're like, crap, I was doing that. We had bought some targets from the range and all they had was like these generic blue or green silhouette deals and they had the X ring.
Oh yeah.
Like, and I said, why are you shooting down there? And you're like, well, what do you mean?
Because I have OCD and I have to shoot the center of that.
Yeah, exactly. Because we in our targets we actually have it's a half silhouette and it's just basically from the chest to the top of the head. If you put your bullets in that area, you're like, yeah, but the throat, Paul, you included the neck and the throat.
Yeah, the whole spine thing?
In that area. Yeah, if you put a bullet through the spine, generally you're going to get a positive reaction from the vermin, from the bad guy. We found historically that severing the spine ballistically causes a cessation of violence. I'm just, I'm not a doctor or anything, but based upon my experience killing stuff, I found that, when a bullet goes through the spine, the receiving party tends to be interrupted. So here's the deal. I know that the heads, people say, oh, headshot's good, but, the heads move around a lot. Well, yeah, but why do people, in all these, these mall shootings and these church shooting stuff, they're like headshot. And you say it's hard to hit the head. It's easy to shoot someone in the head when they're laying on the ground cowering. That's real simple. People that are actually moving around and actively fighting you, it's tough to get a shot into their cranium. You got to really work hard at it. But essentially draw a T. What I like to do if you've got a silhouette, make a T, use the top of the shoulders as the horizontal cross, and then use the T from basically the eyeballs and the nose down to the sternum as the vertical line, and split the T, and that'll tell you exactly where you should put your front sight, and start dumping bullets into that area. Very few soft body armors and even hard body armors will get all the way up, cover the throat, the neck, and the facial area. So dump a bunch of bullets in that area, and you should see a reaction. And the only way that you're going to be able to dump bullets into that area and know that they're going to be there is by training, getting some training. Here in the United States of America, we love to talk about seasons. Do we not, Jared? Do we love to talk about seasons, this season and that season? And
sure.
What season is it right now?
It is hunting season right now. Mm-hmm. For those of you that didn't know that.
Yeah, it's hunting season. It's football season.
I was just about to say it's football season. It's fantasy football season.
It's fantasy. Well, it's always fantasy
Actually,
season.
I'm going to go check my team right now.
Okay, go check your team.
I have to get on FanDuel.
FanDuel.com. But now, all this other distraction and nonsense and what have you that people have going on in their lives, folks, it's time. You remember, Jared, I should have had you pull this quote, that quote from Dalton. All right, write this down. Write this down, hippie. We'll do it tomorrow. All right, in the movie, and I'm loosely quoting, in the movie Roadhouse, when Dalton, I thought you'd be bigger, when he tells them to be nice, and they're like, well, I want you to be nice. They're like, what if someone calls my mama a whore? And he says, is she? I want you to be nice. He says, I want you to be nice until it is time not to be nice. Well, how will we know that? And he says, you won't. I will tell you. Awesome quote from that movie. Rest in peace, Patrick Swayze. Here's what I'm telling you. Listen up. Perk up your ears. Pretend that I am the cooler. Pretend I am Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse, and that you are a group of bouncers. And I have told you, be nice. And that's what we've been as American gun owners, as the American gun culture. For 30, 40, 50, 60 years, we've been nice. We've been reasonable. We've allowed them to get away with a little crap here, a little crap there, a little crap everywhere, crap. We've been allowing them to get away with it because we've been nice. The time to be nice is over. It's done. Write today's date down. Write down the date and time that you listen to this. The time to be nice is over. It is now training season. Recruitment is over. If you're not on, here's the deal, ladies and gentlemen. This is sad, but it's true. We spend so much time as a gun culture recruiting. The NRA is constantly recruiting because we've convinced ourselves that in order to have rights, we have to be in the majority. Now, this is a previous show, and we've already talked about it. I wrote a whole freaking article about you don't have to be in the majority to have rights. Rights are not granted to the majority. That's called mob rule. The United States of America, as a representative republic, is not designed to be mob rule, where you only get to have rights if you're part of the majority. The Declaration of Independence and the Constitution don't guarantee rights to whomever happens to be in the majority, whoever won a popularity contest at that moment in time. There's this crazy thing called inalienable rights. Inalienable rights are there because they are inalienable. Means you can't take them away. It means if I feel that way, if I have a right and 157,000 other people don't agree with me, it doesn't mean a thing because I still have that right. So, recruiting. We've been recruiting, trying to convince people that our way is right, trying to convince people that what we're saying is correct. The time for recruitment is over. What? No, Paul. No. You don't understand, Paul. We have to. We can never stop recruiting for our side. We can never stop trying to turn the NRA into some kind of a gun-toting Benetton ad with women and Asian people and black people or whatever people of color want to be called today. I don't know. I can't keep up. I don't have a scorecard, but I do have a certificate. Gay people and non-gay people and old people and young people and basketball players and football players. We're trying to turn the NRA into this wonderful gun-toting Benetton ad because we think that's the road to victory. Folks, that is not the road to victory. You don't need to be in the majority. You don't have to change your point of view. You don't have to modify it. You don't have to acquiesce. You don't have to make yourself be more reasonable. Inalienable rights are those. You need to understand those. You need to educate yourself. But the time for recruitment, the recruiting phase is over. Now, that's not to say that you still don't allow people to join the team, but you don't put all your focus on recruitment. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is what every pro-gun, gun rights group in America has been doing for as long as they exist, is they've been constantly recruiting. Because in their view, the recruitment itself is the road to victory. That it's a way to get there, but you don't win based on recruitment. The Army and the Marine Corps and the Navy and the Air Force, you don't win wars because you can recruit the best. When it's time to fight World War II, you don't get the W in your column because some coach or judge somewhere, some referee looked at your team and said, wow, hey, United States of America, you did the absolute best job in recruiting. We're going to issue the win to you. No. Recruitment doesn't win the battle. Ooh. So what are we going to do? It is now training season. Stop focusing on recruiting. I'm telling you, listen to me. Paul Markel is telling you, stop worrying about convincing your friends and neighbors and relatives to join your side. I know that's crazy. I know you will never, ever hear that from a pro-gun, pro-Second Amendment radio talk show host. You'll never hear, stop recruiting, stop trying to convince people. Look at the world that we're in. Jared, are you in the world that I'm in?
It's kind of.
You kind of are? Okay.
Yeah.
If your friends, your neighbors, and your relatives have not gotten on board with you yet that it's important for good people to be armed to defend themselves up against bad people, if based upon what's going on in the world, if they're not currently convinced, this is what I'm going to tell you. Stop wasting the oxygen and the brain cells to formulate the words in the immortal words of Frank. What the heck was his last name? Frank Castle, not Frank Castle. Frank Castle's the Punisher. Frank Farmer, the bodyguard. He said, "The people that I protect, they don't need to be convinced to save their own lives." If you feel like you're trying to convince your friends, neighbors, and family members to save their own lives, if they haven't been convinced at this point in time in 2015, after the thousands of isolated incidents by the death cult, by the mob rule mentality, by the flash mob riots, by Ferguson, Baltimore, et al., if they have, by all of the registered Obama voters, the Democrat Obama voters who walk into movie theaters and churches and malls and what have you and start gunning people down, if they haven't been convinced by all of that stuff that their lives are worth defending, nothing else you say is going to convince them. Stop focusing on that. This is what I want you to start focusing on. You, your Patriot Fire Team, your family. It is time. If you have not had professional firearms training right now, stop. Go to your computer and figure out where you're going to go to train. Not if you're going to go. If is crap. Where and when. You want to give yourself a Christmas present? You want to give your wife, your children, you want to give them Christmas presents? Give them the gift of survival. Give them the gift of confidence. Give them a gift of life. Get your butt into a school. I'm going to go ahead and perk up your ears, freaks, because I'm going to go ahead and knock down the list. Tactical Defense
Institute.
Tactical Defense Institute, or TDI, Ohio, in South Central Ohio. Go there, talk to John Benner, good dude. Tactical Response, Camden, Tennessee, James, Uncle Dave, Jay Gibson, all the other dudes. Take one of their classes if you can get into it. I know most of them are filled, but if you can get into one. If you're way out west, if you're currently in occupied People's Republic of California, go to ITTS. Call up Scotty Reitz. Get your butt into one of his schools. Okay? Way up in the Northwest, Clint Smith and Thunder Ranch, Oregon, get into one of his classes.
Farnham's going to Vegas.
John Farnham.
Jim Fuller's
That's
place.
right. TDI. Or no, DTI.
Yeah.
DTI.
Yeah.
Defensive Tactics Incorporated. John Farnham.
I think it's international.
International. DTI International. Or TDI, whatever. You're screwing me up.
Defensive Tactics International.
Defensive
DTI.
Tactics International. John Farnham. Get into one of his classes.
I believe he's going to. I know for a fact that he's going to be at Jim Fuller's place in January, and I heard through the grapevine that he's going to be in Florida at some point in the near future too.
Go to defense-tactics. .com. That's John's official website. Get into one of his classes. Gunsight Academy, Prescott, Arizona. You should go to a gunsight at least once in your life because it's kind of like the Mecca for shooters. You like that Hodge reference there? It's like the Mecca for gun culture people. You should go there at least. You should make a pilgrimage at least once in your life to gunsight. Doesn't matter what's your favorite. Now you're like, Paul, man, you talk about Ohio and Tennessee and Oregon and the People's Republic of California. If you happen to be stuck there, I wouldn't go there on purpose, but if you have to be stuck there, Prescott, Arizona. All right, what else? What else on the East Coast? What in the South and so forth? You know what? I've been to a lot of training schools. I've been to the SIG Academy. It's in New Hampshire, but a lot of times when you go to New Hampshire, you have to drive in, out, and around places like Connecticut, Massachusetts, and New Jersey. So you want to stay away from them. I stay away from them as much as possible. Our friend Shane Iverson, we're actually going to visit Shane in early December, and they're going to be doing a lot more training in Texas, in the Republic of Tejas, and we're going to keep you up to date on that. So step number 1, get training. This is training season. No more excuses. Look at me. Look at me. I'm all done listening to your excuses. If you're listening to me right now and you have not had professional firearms training, and I'm not talking about skeet, I'm not talking about trap, I'm not talking about an NRA course where you learned what a cartridge is and what a breech is and what a cylinder is. That is not professional firearms training to defend your life. If you have not, make it your goal by January 1st to book a seat in a class. I know during the month of December, seats are limited because basically the entire industry goes on relaxed schedule. The whole country goes on relaxed schedule for the last 2 weeks of December.
That made me think of Salt and Pepper.
And they're in effect. Push it. Book it. That's right. Book it real good.
Yeah.
Get your butt into a class. Now you say, all right, well, I can't do a shooting class, Paul. I just can't do a shooting class. Or I already did a shooting class. All right, RTFO. You did. Congratulations. Medical. Get into a medical training class. Again, both TDI Ohio has one that I know of. Tactical Response has one that I know of. I don't know if Gunsight still does theirs or not. We have our Beyond the Band-Aid. Right now, as I'm speaking into the black carbon steel microphone, we don't have one scheduled, but we will have one scheduled.
Yeah, so we're working on one.
This is training season. Now you say, but Paul, I do train. I go out to the range every day, every weekend, every other weekend, whatever, and I train. You walking out onto a range and generating empty brass and making noise is not training. That's practice. You need to know what to practice. Because if you're just buying ammo and driving out to a pit somewhere, a strip mine or what have you, or a junkyard, and blasting away, that's not training. You need to know what to do and why to do that stuff. Once you've done that, it's like buying gear, you know. I want you to have medical gear on you. And you say, well, I don't have training yet. Well, the good thing about medical gear is if you have the gear on you and someone shows up that has medical training but doesn't have the gear because they're a knucklehead, a lot of people that are professional medical providers don't ever carry gear with them because it's in the hospital. It's in the building. When I get to the building, they hand me the gear and I use it. I don't carry it with me. It's part of my job. It's like cops carrying guns, you know. A lot of cops would never buy a gun for themselves because, hey, the department gives me one. A lot of doctors and nurses would never – they don't carry medical gear because, hey, I go into the building and they give it to me. So medical training, all right? And then you want to go from there. You want to go to force on force. That's where you understand what it is to actually fight against another human being. These are things that you need to do. These are things that I'm telling you, it is the time. The recruitment phase is over with. You're here, I'm here, we're here. Stop spending all of your time and energy trying to convince people to save their own lives. It's time for you to spend your time and your energy practicing, training, and learning to save your own life and the life of your family and the lives of your community. That's it. All right, that is the end of today's show. I'm all done. We went way long yesterday, and I cannot go long again today. But fear not, ladies and gentlemen, children of all ages, we will be back tomorrow, and I'm going to tell you this. You're a beginner once. You should indeed be a student for life.